The call at 2:17. At 2:17 in the morning, my phone rang. I know the exact time because I was not asleep. I never sleep well anymore. I lay in bed staring at the ceiling, listening to the quiet sounds of the building, when the screen suddenly lit up. There was no number on the display, no name, just a blank space where the caller ID should have been. I almost ignored it, almost. When I answered, I expected silence or a prank. Instead, I heard breathing, slow, uneven breathing, as if the caller was struggling to stay calm. Then a man's voice spoke. "You're late." I asked who it was, but the voice did not answer right away. The breathing continued, and I felt an uncomfortable pressure in my chest, like someone was standing too close to me. "You promised," the voice said. The call ended. I sat up in bed, my heart pounding. I told myself it was nothing, a wrong number, someone drunk, anything that made sense, but deep down something felt wrong in a way I could not explain. A few seconds later, my phone vibrated again. This time it was not a call, it was a voicemail notification. The message had been sent from my own number. I listened to it. What I heard made my stomach turn. It was my voice, not similar, not almost, exactly my voice. "If you're hearing this," it said, "you forgot again." I deleted the voicemail immediately, but the words stayed in my head. I checked the time. It was still 2:17 a.m. The lights in my apartment flickered, once, twice, then everything went quiet, too quiet. I realized I could no longer hear traffic from the street or the distant hum of the city. That was when I heard knocking. 3 slow knocks. Not at the front door. Behind me. I did not turn around, I could not move. The knocking stopped and a voice whispered near my ear, close enough that I felt warm air against my skin. "You're awake now." I grabbed my phone and ran into the bathroom, slamming the door behind me. My reflection stared back at me from the mirror, pale and wide-eyed. For a moment, everything seemed normal. Then the mirror fogged over, even though the room was cold. Words appeared on the glass, written from the inside. "You said you would wake me." I stepped back, my heart racing. When I looked at my reflection again, it was still staring at me, but it was no longer copying my movements. It smiled when I did not. My reflection spoke without opening its mouth. 2:17 every night. The lights went out. When I woke up, I was lying on the bathroom floor. Morning sunlight streamed through the window. The city sounds were back, cars, voices, life. I checked my phone, no missed calls, no voicemails, no unknown numbers, everything looked normal. I tried to forget about it. That night I forced myself to stay awake. I sat in bed watching the clock. 2:14, 2:15, 2:16. At 2:17 nothing happened. No call, no knock, no voice. I let out a breath of relief and closed my eyes. That was my mistake. I woke up standing in a long, narrow hallway that smelled like dust and old carpet. The lights flickered above me. Doors lined both sides of the corridor. Each one looked exactly the same. A number was painted on the door at the end. I knew this place. Years ago, I worked the night shift at a small roadside motel. A man had checked in late, alone, and asked for a wake-up call at 2:15 in the morning. I told him I would make the call. I never did. They found him in that room just after 2:17. He was lying in bed with the phone receiver in his hand. The line was dead. The coroner said his heart had failed in his sleep. The hallway around me grew colder. I heard a phone ringing from behind the door of room 417. I did not want to answer it. The door opened on its own. The man stood inside the room, his face pale and empty, his eyes dark and hollow. He looked at me with quiet disappointment. "You're late," he said. I tried to speak, but my voice would not come out. "I've been awake for a long time," he continued, "every night waiting." The phone rang again. I woke up screaming in my bed, drenched in sweat. My phone lay on the pillow beside me. The screen was lit. Incoming call. No number. The time was 2:17 a.m. I did not answer. The phone stopped ringing. But I could hear breathing in the room, slow and patient, as if something was standing beside the bed, waiting for me to make a promise I could never keep.